Sister Wives, Episode 19, Season 23, entitled The Stars Will Fall from the Sky. In this episode, we're all the way in 2024, and get ready with your Kleenex. This is the darker than ever episode of Sister Wives ever. So Garrison passed away in March last year, and this had to be filmed around soon after. But curiously enough, they actually did start off the show with two reasonably lighthearted scenes. So first off is that of Christine, with some random family activity in her sweet backyard, with McKeely and her kids. Isabel and some of David's kids were there. David is throwing this frisbee everywhere in a hostile way, and the stupid frisbee flies over the fence, over onto their neighbors, and Isabel is willing to climb over the fence to get it. But Christine, which is so mom-like, is like, "No, do not go over. I will go out and procure it. You know, we don't want to risk the chances of injury." After all, Isabel did undergo spine surgery, but then David is like, "I'll assist you over." And he's annoying Christine and poking her buttons, and David is like, he didn't hear her, and he jumps over the fence, exclaims, "He's a grown man, and nobody's going to inform me not to." But despite this, Christine says she is happy with David, even when he irks her, and Isabel informs David's went well with the family, and her doubts remind her of how she was wondering how he was going to replace Kody's spot. Those things were undeserved. First of all, how old is David to be leaping the fence? Like, is he in his 60s? David needs to sit down and not break his bones over frisbee. And then we are at Meri's B&B. So Meri's last bed and breakfast guest just left, and they're shutting down the bed and breakfast for a while. So it's kind of a big milestone. She's making some big changes to the house. She wants to make like more of an event space than a bed and breakfast. She's not sure that a bed and breakfast is something that she really wants to continue doing. You know, she never really wanted to do that. She just sort of went along with it, because that's what it was, prior to Meri's also having a focus on dating, and indicates that some people were kind of intimidated by her, because she belonged to a plural family, and because she's so public, she never talks about the fellow. He was hard launching about a couple of years ago. He had a name like Amos or something like that, and that crashed and burned, so, and he never got on the show. I'm sure she edited him out. And next, okay, so I'm seeing B-roll of a sunset and music we don't necessarily hear normally on the show. And so right away, I'm like, okay, here we go. But they interview Meri in an interview room, and then you can see cameras. They're breaking the fourth wall here for this scene. And the producer is saying, okay, we're going to talk about the carriage house, blah, 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 blah. Oh gosh, not the carriage house. And Meri's looking down, and I guess at her phone, and she says, "That's weird, Kody's calling me." At this point, yeah, Kody probably never calls her. So this is really unusual. They hardly ever talk. So the producer asks if she wants to take it, and she's like, "No, he can text me if he wants something." But then he keeps calling and texts that it's an emergency, and so she responds to it with sort of a scared look immediately, and immediately they switch to breaking the news of what happened to Garrison. So Meri eventually found out about it in an interview. I can't believe that's how she found out about it on camera. They didn't really have her actually find out, but nevertheless, that must have been so hard. So then they switch to Janelle sobbing, and this breaks my heart. It's just too hard to watch, and they as individuals all demonstrate every main cast member, or attempting to, I don't know, come up with something to say, or to even say something regarding it. We gained a lot of knowledge as to who informed who and what, and when. As far as learning things, we did not learn before from the news previously. So we are learning that Gabriel let Janelle know that Garrison had died, which, adding to his trauma, I cannot believe him. He is the one that discovered his brother, and he's also the one that told Janelle they'd passed away. And so that's tough. And Janelle says she doesn't even remember the next few minutes after that, but she just got in her car and drove. We also learned Christine was told by Hunter, who was crying on the phone, and Christine just fell to the floor in her office. She says, they all knew he was upset, but they had hoped that, I guess. Okay, and she didn't finish her sentence because she was crying, but I'm guessing she means they would. That he would turn around and improve. Kody reports that he was busy soothing his children, and Gwendolyn called and wanted to visit, and when she was over, he just started feeling drowned in grief. I actually really felt sorry for Kody this episode. I'm always never a Kody fan, or a Kody fan. But in this episode, just the fact that he will never be able to make things right with Garrison because his son is just so sad, and I just pity him for that. Meri visited Kody and Robyn's house after she found out, and Gwendolyn was there, and she just hugged Meri. Maddie was told by Janelle and says, a few seconds in your life alter your brain chemistry, and having your siblings informed another one of them died alters your brain chemistry. So I'm assuming that Maddie was the one who had to break the news to a lot of her siblings. And so now they include Gabriel on camera, and immediately my heart just drops. He suffered so much. Like, please don't make him relive this on national television. I'm glad that they didn't make him tell like what happened. But he simply said that Garrison felt more than he said, and he talked a little about why his brother was so amazing. And Kody says at the funeral parlor that where they showed his body for like the last time, he didn't know what to say. Except, I'm sorry. Christine says that she spoke at the family funeral, and basically, she did it without crying until she had to say his favorite quote from a movie. And I believe it's like to the stars, Bowen to the stars. It's a movie quote from his favorite movie. And Maddie speaks about how Garrison was so close to getting closer to them in North Carolina. He was just so very close, and I guess that's just something that never happened. But Janelle mentioned that Garrison wasn't a drinker. He didn't even like the taste of it or anything. But he started to drink during CO, which CO, as we know, is when things started to get bad with his dad, and something in the last year somehow really pushed him. And he had had other difficult nights where he would drink, pass out, and then wake up the next morning. And so, yeah, that's just really sad. Really honest talk from Janelle here. So they heralded to bring him out to Wyoming and bury him there. Janelle's strategy is to stay busy and keep her mind occupied as much as she can. At this point, Janelle's sister came to visit and spend time with her in North Carolina, and she's just crying herself and asked Janelle how she is getting along. Janelle responds good days and bad days, which under normal circumstances would be more bad days when someone says those words. Janelle says, as a matter of fact, she knows he's passed, but she almost forgets and reminds herself, which is so, so sad, and in the last scene, which is super a tearjerker in my opinion. Back in Flagstaff, Kody and Robyn are sitting by the fire. We see that Kody has a huge picture of Garrison in his house, the one where he's, wearing his military uniform. And Kody and Robyn ask each other, are you okay? Are you okay? Kody talks about how it just wasn't supposed to be this way, and he wishes he had done things differently. He thought he had more time, and they both agree that people have a tendency to think this. People think, oh, we've got more time, and then they don't. And Kody talks about how he will take into account, it's hard for him to take into account what life will be like from here on out, and he fixates on what ifs. Like, what if he called him? What if he was in touch more? Kody questions what he will do the rest of his life, which is so sad, so depressing. I mean, I nearly died watching this episode. I cried too much, which is why I'm stuffed. So hopefully you liked my summary. And, We did find out more. I thought they were only gonna say, this happened and then just kind of go on. But they went deep and they're going deeper next week. So, all right, well, get your Kleenex because this is happening. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more recaps and updates. See you next